How are you, my fans, sneak peepers, and curious friends? I am difficult and demanding. If you want to know my real name, then hold still, and I might bring your wish to fruition. Before we begin, you can find this podcast show in iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Blueberry, Google Play Music, TuneIn, YouTube, and Stitcher. This is the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real, uncensored, and shooting straight between the eyes. The third eye, that is. I am going to hit you with explicit truth. This solo show is outrageously honest and keenly witty with a view into life. Yes, I said life. That's what we do every day when we wake up from sleeping. We are living life. Well, some of us at least. Let's get something straight. Really, really straight. I am truly, actually, habitually, and shamelessly difficult and demanding. And I completely own it. Now, I don't ask for much because I expect and receive it all. I firmly believe that if you expect shit, you will receive shit. What does that mean? Well, it means expect nothing but the best and don't settle for less. As always, I, your host, Tara, am keeping it real and uncensored. Are you ready for me? Your answer better be yes. Why do you think I call myself difficult and demanding? It's for a reason. Now that you have a better understanding, it is time to dive into the next episode of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast. Do you feel alone? You shouldn't. A number of people are sexually dissatisfied, and they run, hide, or ignore the issue and their sexual needs. Time doesn't heal all wounds. It actually gouges some and causes lasting damage. Finally, climb aboard and enjoy the entire show because I am giving you plenty of ridiculous honesty. Once the podcast episode ends, I am keeping it going on my Instagram page at Difficult and Demanding and on my Twitter page at Mrs. D and D. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me again. Today, what I want to focus on are some common sex complaints. A lot of us stay in relationships where we are not sexually satisfied. Maybe we used to be, maybe we never were. I mean, we have our reasons for what we do and why we do it. But the fact of the matter is, somewhere along the line, initially or at the end or in the middle, we become sexually complacent, dissatisfied, and we accept that as the status quo as far as the natural evolution of our sexuality in regards to relationships. So there's 4 or 5 different things that I want to focus on today. Maybe they resonate with you, maybe they do not. Hopefully you find some humor, some wisdom, whatever. At the end of the day, I hope you find it entertaining and maybe you can extract something of value from this episode of mine. So the first sexual complaint that some couples have is the fact that their significant other and themselves, they feel more and more like roommates. The relationship started off with a spark, desire, but over time, for whatever reason, you have become more and more like roommates. And usually what I like to ask is why? How does that happen? And the reasons are various, but the fact of the matter is, you are in a romantic relationship with someone, but there is no romance in the relationship. You do everything except the sexual romantic part to have a life together, but you're living like roommates. Now, why would we continue to be in a relationship and accept that as okay, as normal? And that's, when my brain starts clicking, is like, where do we get this stuff from? You didn't enter that relationship to be roommates. You entered that relationship to have companionship, but to get fucked also. And somewhere along the line, things have gotten derailed. Things have gotten chucked on the side of the road. Shit has gone off the reservation. And a vital component of your relationship is gone. Now you can either do you can do three things. You can continue doing what you're doing, which is living like a roommate. You can move the fuck on with someone who you vibe with romantically, sexually, or you can work to fix your relationship. Now, which one you should choose, I don't know. You have to do some soul searching. But either choice, there's a consequence. There's a major consequence. You have to really look at yourself and figure out, what do I want at this point in this stage of my life? And by being with this person, will I achieve that? Because none of us sign up to be a fucking voluntary loser. Well, maybe some of us. Whatever. It's your choice. But at the end of the day, we want to be fulfilled on as many levels as possible. So if you are committed to someone and you're not sexually aroused, you're not fulfilled, I'm asking you, what the fuck are you doing? Because if you wanted a roommate, you could have a roommate with less obligations and expectations. So it's clear that you are in a committed relationship because you want the romance, the sexual component. Then why are we accepting a roommate type of situation? Then you're saying, well, Tara, I have no choice. Another person's involved. Yes, another person is involved. And you can't control that person. But what you can do is control yourself. So why have you decided to accept the status quo? Well, you figure, hey, went off track, thought it would get back on track, and lo and behold, months and years have gone by. Well, months and years have gone by because you allowed it to go by. And you're saying, well, fuck up. Wait a minute. That's fucked up. Why are you blaming me? Well, who else do I point the finger at? You can't control your significant other. Only person that you can control is yourself. So if you can control yourself, at some point in time, you decided that it was easier to let things go and flow, and you hoped, you wished and prayed that things would get back on track, but they have not. So why have you accepted it? Why did you allow it? Because it's easier than arguing, crying, fighting, breaking up? Why are you sacrificing your happiness and your fulfillment just because you don't want to experience some discomfort? Whether it's discomfort in regards to fixing the fucking situation, or it's discomfort as far as fixing the fucking situation, which means, one, you fix your relationship, you get the sexual component back on track with your significant other, or two, you leave the fucking relationship and find one that gives you what you need. I don't know why we have this problem with understanding that if you found one, you'll find another one, you'll find another one, you'll find another one. We have some fucked up fears in regards to finding new people to be in a relationship with. It's simple, but it's complicated. You are the one that's getting in your way. Your fears and your complacency is getting in your way. It's stopping you from taking action on fixing your relationship, and it's stopping you from taking action as far as leaving the relationship. And you are choosing to be unfulfilled, dissatisfied. Why would you choose that? Well, you're saying everything else is there. That's the only thing that's missing. Why do we like to minimize how critical, how important sex is to us? We all need it for the most part. We all want it for the most part. So why would you deny yourself? Well, you're saying, I'm not denying myself. The person I'm with is not delivering, can't deliver, won't deliver. But the fact is, you're accepting it. If you went to a restaurant and you ordered a meal and it wasn't something that you wanted, most people would say, no, thank you, please take it back. So why do we have a greater sense of loyalty to someone else versus ourselves? You have to take care of yourself first before you can help someone else. And if you are being unfulfilled, you are dissatisfied, it's clear that you're not taking care of yourself. It's clear you are disconnected with you. So how are you going to connect with another? Mentally, emotionally, physically, when you can't even articulate or do something about your own damn needs? I don't know why we seem to marginalize, diminish how important sex is to our life. We need it to create human beings. So we know how critical it is. So why can't we accept the fact that it gives us great joy, great pleasure, and we need and want that shit? Now, if you're used to having mediocre sex, room temperature, everyday sex, then yeah, it's no big deal to you. You're not missing much, because whether you're getting it or not, it all feels like the same damn thing. It makes no difference. But for those of you who like passion, excitement, you like to be seduced, you like passion, you want all that, then you definitely miss having that great sexual connection. And you bury it away thinking it's no big deal. It'll come back. Or if it doesn't come back, if you bury it away, it no longer exists. You see, but that's not true. Because those of you who bury it away, who try to kill it, one day you are going to meet someone who's going to bring that motherfucker back to life. What is that motherfucker? That is your sex drive. That is your passion. That is your sexuality. You are going to meet someone who brings that fucking beast within you back to life. Then what the fuck are you going to do when it's awoken back up? Because you can't put it back to sleep. Yeah, we walk around being in a coma, thinking that our mundane, routine, day-to-day life, if we keep ourselves busy enough, then we can cease to remember our deep desires, needs, wants, our passion. Yeah, we busy ourselves so we can forget about taking care of our needs because we're scared or whatever about addressing something that is vital to our well-being. You may last 1 year, you may last 5 years, you may last 10, 15 years, but I guarantee you, you're going to meet someone who will cross your path and will break down your barriers, break down your wall, and that person will yank that beast within you that's been dormant. And then once he or she does that to you, you can no longer go back to being who you are, how you are. You can't. And that is not something you want to fuck with. So what I suggest, instead of mummifying your sexual desire, your passions, what I suggest is you resolve the issue in a proactive way. Either deal with it with the other person or you move on. Why be in limbo? Why have resentment? Why have anger, regret, disgust, shame, guilt? Why live life with all this unnecessary bullshit? It is. And the funny thing is, you are volunteering to be full of resentment, regret, unfulfilled, dissatisfied. You're signing up for that because you're saying this person is a decent person. They do everything else right. We have history. We have this, that, and the other. How can I destroy all these years over something as simple as sex, as coming, as getting fucked? Why would you do it for other reasons? We seem to think that the only reasons that we can leave a relationship is because someone was cheating, drugs, or some other things. The only real reasons of why we can happily, honestly leave a relationship. And I'm going to call bullshit. It's not true. We're being programmed to think that our sexuality is not necessary. It can be shut off, watered down. It can be ignored. To leave a relationship because you are sexually unfulfilled means that you are a horrible, evil, selfish, degenerate type of person. I'm telling you, that's some stupid ass shit. It's not true. It's only true if you believe it's true. The point of being in a relationship with someone is that it's fulfilling you. It's not depleting you. It's not depriving you. It's not marginalizing you. It's not changing, contorting you. It is enhancing you. And if you find yourself not being enhanced, you find yourself being hindered, thwarted, criticized, not stimulated desire, then I'm asking you, what are you doing? Because if that's what the relationship looked like when you met this person, you would have never got into the relationship. So if you would not have chosen to be in a sexless roommate type of relationship, then why would you accept that shit later on down the line because you've been together for months, years? Why is it okay in the course of relationship, but it's not okay in the beginning? Because you're saying things die down, things get comfortable. Things become what you let them become. If you want to get fucked, you need to get fucked. Then you should make arrangements to get fucked. And if the partner you are with has no interest or has a bunch of excuses, then I would take a step back and I would ask you, what is really going on? Because a partner holds their end of the bargain. Yeah, a relationship is a partnership. Two people agree to do certain things and you're supposed to deliver. But life gets in the way, excuses get in the way, and then for some reason people think because you accept their excuses by having compassion and understanding, it just keeps going like that. And I'm here to tell you guys, if a person is not delivering what they say they were supposed to, I'm telling you, fix it or leave. Or you can let your life go on by being miserable. But I subscribe to the school of thought that I am meant to be happy. I don't want fucking bullshit. I don't want excuses. Don't tell me you're trying. I don't do try. I do. So either you're going to do me or you're going to get the fuck out of the way. That's cold. You know what's cold? I'm getting older as the days go by. I have one life to live. I don't have the patience or the time to deal with someone who is not able or capable of doing what the fuck I need. It doesn't mean I don't care for you. What it means is I'm here to live my life to the goddamn fullest. I would like to do it with you, but if I cannot do it with you, we can continue to be friends, but I need to move on to a motherfucker who can deliver. I want to be happy. I need to be happy. And I don't believe in sacrificing myself for any reason at all. Now, am I saying being reasonable? Yes, you can be reasonable. You can be compassionate. But why am I tying up my best fucking years living life with someone as a goddamn roommate? Why? I can have a roommate and not be committed to you. I can have a roommate and go do what the hell I need to do. I don't need to be committed to someone in a roommate type of situation. Yes, we are in a committed relationship that's like roommates, and we think that's okay. If you actually had a roommate, that wouldn't stop you from going out dating and getting yourself fucked, would it? No. So why would you be in a committed relationship that's supposed to bring sex, make you fulfilled, make you come? Why would you be in a relationship and live like fucking roommates and be committed to that shit? So when you meet someone who crosses your path, they get your fucking dick hard or your juices flowing, you're going to pass on that because you are in a committed roommate relationship. That's some fucked up, warped, demented bullshit. You need to get your priorities straight. And your number one priority is you. You're saying, well, we have kids and all that. I understand. So now you need to make a decision. You can still be parents, still be roommates, but that doesn't mean that you have to go without. Hard decisions are needed for your happiness. We seem to think that happiness is something that is fleeting, that only happens to special people. No, happiness is a choice. You choose happiness. And to have happiness, you have to make hard decisions to make that shit happen. Now, that may mean that you look like a fucked up, self-centered person because you decided, you know what? I think you're a great person, but we're no longer aligned. We're no longer matched. Let's keep our friendship and relationship, but there's some things that I need and I'm going to get it done. Now, either I can get it from you or I cannot, but I'm not going without. Because people cannot handle our truth. They contort it, they twist it, they label it, they judge it, they criticize it because they think that, you know what? Sex is not a good enough reason to leave a relationship. Yes, the fuck it is. If sex is enough to leave a relationship as far as someone cheating, then sex is enough to leave a relationship if you're not satisfied. And if a person cares so motherfucking much about you leaving a relationship based on sex, then they should be putting that shit out. They should be laying it on a fucking buffet table, ready, willing, and able. You can't let someone judge you and criticize you for wanting to pursue a relationship with someone else because you want to be sexually satisfied. How are they going to judge you for getting your needs met when they're not willing to meet your needs? We give people too much power and control over our life. You're in a relationship with someone. For some reason, you guys are not connecting sexually. You tried, you worked it out, maybe you haven't talked about it, whatever. Shit's not getting done. You both know you used to fuck and you know you're not fucking anymore. So you try to fix it, you try to talk about it, the shit fails, it bombs every single time. You go to this person and say, look, I have needs, I need to get them met. Are we going to do this? Yay, nay, whatever. It doesn't work. Then you come back and say, look, I still have needs. What do you want to do about this? I'm thinking of leaving this relationship because I am not sexually satisfied. The first thing the person's going to do, you're this, you're demented, you're selfish, you're this, you're that, and the other. How can you do this to me? How can you give up what we have? It's so special. Look at all these years. Look at the kids. Da 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 da. They have more passion about you going to fulfill your happiness than for them to turn around and fuck you like you deserve to be fucked. How can you let someone have their cake and eat it too? If they care that damn much, they would fuck you until your fucking brains exploded and you wouldn't be having this conversation. But since, for whatever reason, the two of you are not fucking, now that you say you want to relieve the relationship, now all this passion, this feistiness, this desire, these opinions, they want to pop that shit on the table. Huh? Where was this when I came to you and you rejected me? Where was this when I came to you and we tried to work it out and you lost interest? Where was all this life then? We cannot let people get in the way of pursuing what's in our best interest. They may love us, but they can also manipulate us into making decisions that are not self-honoring. It's more self-serving to them. And we need to be aware of that. No one can tell me I can't pursue my sexual fulfillment when I gave you a chance to do your part and you did not. You don't get the platform to judge, to criticize me because I'm doing what makes me happy. You expect to have the right to tell me, no, I cannot, I will not, I'm not able to sexually satisfy you. And then when I say, you know, I'm leaving this relationship and I'm going to pursue what I want, and then you want to call me a bunch of names? Hell no, I don't think so. You're overreaching. You have overstepped your boundaries. You don't get to have both. If you want to wear the hat of, I can't fucking fulfill you sexually, then you wear that motherfucking hat. But when I decide to leave and go, You do not get to tell me that I'm selfish, I'm inconsiderate, I'm a degenerate, I don't value real relationship. A real relationship would do what was necessary to satisfy one another. That's what a real relationship does. You don't hold back. You don't go without. You find ways to please and to get pleased. That's what real relationships do. You aim to make one another happy. And if you can't deliver one way, you deliver the other way. And if you can't deliver the other way, you deliver another way. The fact is, no one should leave empty-handed. Your hands work, your mouth works, whatever the case may be, you need to figure that shit out so your partner is satisfied. And if you're not doing that shit, you need to be evaluated of why you would let your loved one be deprived. Yeah. Why would you let your loved one be deprived? That's not what relationships are about. They're not about deprivation. And you guys might want to think long and hard about what I'm talking about. You give people too much power over us, and we need to take our power back. Simple as that. So they said there's a vicious cycle where one person in relationship, let's say the woman, feels sexually and emotionally abandoned. And then she gets upset. So then the man avoids her because he can't stand to see her upset, so on and so forth. So this is how you start to feel like roommates. The woman loses her shit, goes off on the man. The man can't deal with the shit. He's repulsed and he runs away from her. And in the end, she feels like she is sexually and emotionally abandoned. And it keeps going. So the advice they give or said is that, you know what? The woman needs to be less critical of the man. And the man needs to learn how important it is for the woman to feel desired and become more vocal about his own needs. Some of this is true. Most of this is bullshit. Let me explain to you why. There's a male and female, feminine, masculine energy for a reason. They perform different roles. The woman has a great amount of power to steer the course of the relationship. She's kind of steering behind the scenes. You want a man to value you. You want a man to want you. You want a man to crawl over glass and goddamn hot coals for you. Then you need to make him feel like a goddamn god and a fucking beast at the same damn time. You need to stroke and stoke his fucking ego. You're saying, why do I want to do that? Why do you want to stoke and stroke a man's ego? Because a man needs that shit. They want to feel good mentally, emotionally, and physically. And when you are criticizing them, you are harming their pride and their ego. And when their pride and their ego is fragile, they will naturally hibernate to protect themselves. So yes, they may continue to be in a relationship with you, but they will close down. They will shut the fuck off because they don't feel safe. They don't feel comfortable. Women, we control the emotional temperature of a relationship. So we're flying off the handle. You need to know and understand that you are slowly but surely killing your relationship and his desire for you. You want to inflate and boost his ego. You want him to feel primal, like a fucking beast, an animal. That means you need to stroke his goddamn ego and whatever else that needs to be stroked, and I can guarantee you, he will want you. Criticizing a man may get you temporary results, but in the end, you're going to lose. You want desire and passion? All you got to do is cultivate that beast within his ass, and he will come for you. We think that we can just tell a man, hey, feel passion, feel desire for me, and all of a sudden, poof, it will appear. It doesn't work that way. You want that passion, you want that desire, you have to cultivate it, build it like it's a fire in a fireplace, and you will have it. A man creates off of what he is given. If he's giving difficult and demanding, criticizing, judging, he's felt uncomfortable, he's feeling attacked, he's going to shut himself off. And you will feel abandoned. But if you want him to come to you, you need to be warm, welcoming, and inviting. Now, that does not mean you agree with everything he says and does. It's how you handle him. You need to handle him delicately. Like a baby, but not like a baby. When I say not like a baby, you don't need to baby him, but you need to treat his male ego and pride very tenderly, very attentively, very lovingly. Because that is the key to get the passion and desire you want. So you don't feel abandoned. He will be there looking for you. You will be the first thing he motherfucking looks for if you handle his ego appropriately. But most of us don't know how to do that. Or we think a man's ego and pride is some bullshit and he needs to be brought down to earth. When you try to bring a man back down to earth that beats that king in him, that dies down too. So if you want a manly man, then you need to cultivate that within him. If you want to feel equal on all levels, then what you're going to do is nullify, neutralize that passion and desire he has for you, and you will feel like two motherfucking roommates. Now, if you have any questions, come find me. Now, the next complaint that people have, you want to guess what it is? You want to do a drum roll. People are talking about not being able to stay or get hard. Yes. A man's dick. We like to think that you just push a button and the shit just works. Maybe when a man is younger, maybe for some men it happens all their life, but you have to understand a man's dick is tied to his ego and his pride. What you think about that? If you kill his ego and his pride, you're killing his goddamn erection. If you want him rock hard, then you got to make him feel like a fucking beast within. The ultimate man, unlike any other man. You have to have him walking around like he's the last man on earth, and every goddamn woman wants his ass, but he is yours. You need to worship him and make him feel like he's worshipped. You're saying, Tar, what the fuck are you talking about? You want me to worship him? There's a way to worship a man without you feeling like you are demeaning yourself. You made to make him feel like there is no other but him. It takes work and creativity. But a man's erection is tied to how he feels mentally and emotionally. And if you're not taking care of his mental and emotional needs, you need to understand his dick will not stay hard. It will not work. And then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure. Because once he sees that his dick is not working, and his dick is not working with you, he is going to avoid you. What you think about that? If you marginalize, minimize his ego and pride, is going to affect his erections. And when he starts connecting the dots that his dick does not work when it comes to being with you, he is going to avoid you. Men like to win. They don't want to feel like a fucking failure. They avoid situations in which they feel like a failure. So initially, dick fails, he will try to work on it, try to resolve it. Eventually, it keeps failing. He's going to avoid the situation altogether. That's why I started talking about masculinity and femininity. We need to understand our power and our role and how we can affect our relationships and men. We can get them to do a whole host of things if we approach them in the right way. If you want him rock hard, you want him gunning for you, then you need to handle him properly. But let me tell you what this article said. This article says, as advice, there are things to try and actions to take that bring back confidence, arousal, and erections. Yes, a man needs to feel confident. Unwavering confidence. There's always a psychological overlay. They eventually have unspoken anxiety over sexual performance. Yeah, anxiety and performance demands inhibit arousal in a man. Anxiety and performance demands. You have to understand your man. What makes him tick, what he likes, what he needs, how he wants it, how he needs to see it, how he needs to motherfucking hear it. You need to master your man. Because when you master your man and you approach him in the right way, he will move fucking mountains for you. But if you approach him in the same typical manner that we as women are taught how to approach a man, you are going to end up with less sex, no sex, mediocre sex, feeling abandoned sexually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and his dick's going to stop working. It's going to stop working. There's a way to fix the situation, but we have to understand we are the key to the engine. We rev the engine up. The engine would be the man. We can get him going. We can slow him down. We can get him going. We can slow him down. But you have to understand how to do that. Once you understand how to do that, you control the pulse of the relationship. You will feel so empowered and so wonderful and so happy and fulfilled at the same damn time. Now, the next complaint is people wanting an open marriage, but the significant other is reluctant. Now, when I say an open marriage, people want to keep their current spouse, but they want to pursue same-sex liaisons. And they don't want to lose their long-term partner or marriage. Same-sex relationships. And the other person is reluctant because they are scared of being abandoned. Let me tell you something. If you are in a relationship with someone and they come to you saying, look, I want to stay with you, but I have these urges, these tendencies in which I want to be with someone, female, male, but I want to stay with you and I'm scared of losing you. You have to look at one, get over the shock. Let's start there. Get over the shock. 2, that means that person is not fully fulfilled with you. So you can either hold on tighter or you can let them go and pursue what makes them happy. Now you're saying, Tara, I'm not comfortable with my wife or my husband going to pursue same-sex relationships and stay in a relationship with me. Then that's part of knowing yourself. How much do you love the person? Can you let them go and do what they need to do? And how much do you love yourself where you can realize, you know what? This shit doesn't work for me. I need to leave. You see, the weird thing with the situation is whether you let the person say, okay, I accept what you're saying and you can go do that. You may lose them. If you tell the person, no, you cannot do that and stay with me, and the person decides to ignore or hide what it is that they really need or want, your relationship will never be the same. So either way, you are put at a crossroads where you have to determine what it is that you really need or want. How would you feel if your significant other, your wife came to you and say, look, this is girl, I want to fuck her, but I still want to be married to you. But no, you can't fuck her too. She's my side piece, my other relationship. I want to have an open marriage, and I want to do that. One hand, you say yes. You have a fear of losing her. One hand, you say no. You still have a fear of losing her because you know she's not satisfied. Either way, your relationship is in a precarious situation. But instead of focusing on that partner who wants an open relationship, what I suggest you do is focus on you and what you need or want and figure out, are you really fulfilled? Can you be fulfilled with someone who wants to be an open relationship? Because if you can, do that shit. If you can't, you might want to take a deep, hard look about where do you go from there? Because whether your wife pursues this lesbian relationship or not, deep down, you're going to feel insecure. Deep down, you're going to feel that you are not able to satisfy her, and you will always have this nagging worry in the back of your head. So you need to determine whether you go or stay, whether you find a relationship that's more conducive to your belief system, or you change and evolve and adapt to what's going on. But never base your decision off of what's best for the other person. You need to decide what's best for you. And you also need not to hold on so tight to another person. If they're going to stay with you, they will stay. If they go, let them go. Don't try to keep anything that doesn't want to be kept. Let it go. You can't control them. You can only control yourself. So let it go. And find what makes you happy and fulfilled. But I'm telling you, if you find out that someone want to be with someone else, you're going to lose that comfort and security that you had. You can get it back, but you got to do some hard work, the two of you, to get that right. You're at a crossroads, and you have to do what's best for you. And the only way you can do what's best for you is not by holding on and trying to restrict the other person. They're grown. Let them do what they need to do. And I suggest you do what you need to do. Maybe you decide you want to fuck other people on the side. Maybe you decide you don't want to be in this relationship. Maybe you decide, well, you know what? I can't join the two of you, but at least I can watch the two of you. Whatever. You can work it out however you want. However you want. But you can't work it out until you get honest. And you can't get honest until you do some reflection on yourself and what your needs and wants are. So the advice this article gave is that each person should feel free to air their concerns while listening and understanding what the other person is saying. Yeah. Listen, understand, but the fact is you got a problem and it needs to be solved. And you, until you find your footing, one of you or both of you are going to feel very insecure because you know deep down your partner needs some things that you cannot give them. So unless you guys get really, really creative on how you solve that, your relationship is in a very delicate situation. So the next complaint people have: he doesn't know what I like in bed. What do you think about that? He doesn't know what I like in bed. So what I'm going to do at this point, I am going to continue this conversation, this part of the common complaints. I'm going to continue that next week and part 2. I've already given you 3 different things to ponder over, but number 4 and number 5 will be continued in my next episode 77. So I hope you've learned something. I hope you've enjoyed something. But to hear part 2, you're going to have to come back next week to find out what I have to say about number 4 complaint and number 5. But for now, you have numbers 1, 2, and 3. And hopefully that's enough food for thought for you that you'll come back and listen to me in a couple of weeks with episode 77 for Common Complaints number 4 and Common Complaints number 5. Until the next time. Are you disappointed this has come to an end? Well, it doesn't have to. Reach out and let me know what you think about this episode and my podcast. You can try and slide into my DM, but I will kick your ass out. So I suggest you hop into my DM on Instagram at Difficult and Demanding or Twitter at Mrs. D&D, or leave a comment on one of my posts. Episode 77 is here on May 10th, 2019 from the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast.